Welcome to Slavic Studies at Connecticut College. Today we are going to tell you about our curriculum, about our community, and our outcomes. My name is Petko Ivanov. I'm the chair of the Slavic department. My colleagues are Andrew Ivanu and Warren Little.
Hello.
Hello.
Our Slavic Studies program is unique for a small liberal arts college. What differentiates us from other similar programs is that we are, in name and in deed, Slavic. Slavic studies doesn't mean that we neglect Russian, or the Russians. It simply means that we're trying to decentralize Russia and to encompass other Slavic-speaking countries and cultures. And it also means that within Russian studies, we are trying to decolonize our curriculum in terms of addressing in our courses people other than ethnic Russians that currently live and historically inhabited the Russian Federation, including indigenous population. That's why our foundational course, Slavic Studies 105, Introduction to Slavic Studies, is required for all of our majors and minors. And it is indeed an introduction, a broad introduction to all Slavic-speaking societies and cultures. It comes also with flag sections, foreign languages across the curriculum. We have Polish and Russian here as well. So that is generally what differentiates us, and in a sense, it makes us unique among other liberal art Russian departments. Another feature that is part of who we are is that our program are above our students. Our course offerings are not preset, but every year we tailor our courses based on the students we have and their needs. In that sense, it is our students that drive our program.
And I'd like to say, should I go and talk a little bit about the Russian language program? We do offer more than Russian at Connecticut College. We also teach Bulgarian, Polish, as well as Ukrainian is taught by one of our students this year. But the only language that we do teach in a 4-year program is Russian. So in our program, you can achieve advanced level proficiency if you take Russian throughout 4 years. Our program is really divided into the first 2 years, as you see, our elementary and intermediate, where we're focusing on the language itself. In the second 2 years at Con, you will be studying content courses in Russian, using the Russian that you have learned in our program to study something else. Some of those courses are courses in Russian film, Russian culture and everyday life, cultures of descent, global Russian local diasporas, which we'll talk about in a minute, as well as Russia Today.
We also encourage students to engage in study away. And we have students who recently have been studying in a wide variety of locations: Riga, Latvia, Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, Tbilisi, Georgia, on semester-long programs, or during the winter break and over the summer. We offer individual advising to all students based on their needs and their interests, how to choose a location. And we count coursework from other institutions towards the Slavic Studies major and minor. We also help students identify and capture funding for summer study and for study away, such as the Critical Language Scholarship, and we have local grants to help support summer study. And we encourage all of our students to participate in those enriching kinds of programs that advance their language and understanding. And we've been very successful. As you can see here, some blurbs from the website about students who have recently been awarded the Critical Language Scholarship, which is a fully funded immersion program for Russian. The Gilman Scholarship is available for a study away, and we also advise carefully around that opportunity. We thought we would focus in on a few sample representative courses from the curriculum.
Sure, I can start and talk a little bit about the first year seminar at Connecticut College. All incoming students take a first year seminar. We teach at least one of them every year. And for the past 2 years, I've taught a seminar called Being Ukraine. The point of which is to study Ukrainian history and culture, including, of course, the ongoing war, to understand the perspective of that country and the people experiencing that horrific event right now. An important part of this course is our students create together an online book called Being Ukraine, an Introduction to Europe's Eastern Vanguard, which is now over 120 pages. Very proud of that work, written by 30 students. And if you come to Connecticut College, you will also contribute a chapter to this growing work online. Also, this is our course in New York City. We travel to New York and interact with the Ukrainian diaspora community in New York City.
We offer literature and culture courses. Not only I teach those courses. One that is a kind of a bedrock of Russian cultural learning is the Russian novel, but we are also, it continually evolves to stay in step with the times. And the most recent iteration reflects the kind of focused on colonial spaces, Russian expansion and exploration, and in an effort to think about the relationship between Russian history and the current political moment. That course is taught in English. Most of our literature courses are taught in English. This is a Russian language course, an advanced course. So as Andrea said, we have elementary and intermediate Russian language courses are, pretty traditional, going with a textbook, focusing on grammar and vocabulary acquisition. And then we have content-oriented courses at the advanced level. In this course, students connect with Russian speakers from around the world who have relocated to the northeastern United States, and in real time, they interview and respond to those individuals and hear their stories across generations. And so we use Zoom to connect with some of those speakers, and some of them come to campus and speak to us live.
Another course that is community-oriented is second language acquisition, and it is a course that consists of 2 parts. In the first part, our college students learn how to learn and how to teach. And in the second part, there is a practicum at the local RMMS magnet school, where our students are practicing what they have been taught. As a matter of fact, the best way to learn something is to teach it. And among other things, we produce books with second language learner autobiographies. This is a genre that is not commonly known, and the contribution of our students are actually contributing also to the knowledge of how languages are learned. The course ends with a fair where the parents of our students attending and the kids showing their newly acquired linguistic skills. And as you can see, the experiential learning is the core value of our program. And here we're going to talk a little bit more about our community and the events that are part of our campus life. So just a sample of those many events, starting with cooking Slavic recipes, to the teaching on Ukraine war, which actually we did on the next day after the invasion started, on the 25th of February, 2022. We also have reading groups. We have a symposium on the war in Ukraine that was in April last year. We have guest speakers, among them Evgenia Albats, Gary Steingart, and other prominent public figures. We also have theater performers that join us, and we regularly have events devoted to Nobel Prize winners from Slavic countries, starting with Svetlana Alexievich from Belarus, then Olga Tokarczuk from Poland, Dmitry Muratov, who got the Nobel Prize for Journalism from Russia, Georgy Gospodinov, who got the Booker Prize last year, and so far and so on. We also have holiday parties. We have theatrical performances during those holiday parties, and the performances in Russian. We also have an annual World Languages Day with attendance from local New London schools.
Perhaps the most exciting aspect of our program are the many off-campus excursions and trips that we take. We travel in smaller and larger groups to New York, to local city, New Britain, which has a large Polish community. We visit, so in New York, I travel with students to the Tenement Museum when we're studying Jewish migration, to the Lower East Side. We go to the famous delicatessens. We have visited both for the Being Ukraine first-year seminar and in connection with other trips, gone to the Ukrainian village. You might find yourself, if you're taking a course on Russian musical and visual culture, on an excursion to the New York Metropolitan Opera for a production. Or you might find yourself in another country on an excursion led by one of our faculty members.
And we have been organizing such trips since 2008. We already made six trips to the Russian Federation, but after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia, both countries, Russia and Ukraine, were off limits for such trips. So we had to find a creative solution, and we went last spring to Georgia, and this spring we went to Armenia, and to a huge success because our students loved every minute of those trips.
Just a quick word about student leadership and employment opportunities on campus. There, and students often want to have jobs, and it's even better when they can have a job that reinforces their language and cultural knowledge and learning. So we very much value when we have students who arrive at the program with knowledge of another Slavic language, or with proficiency levels that allow them to serve as a tutor, or maybe that happens, when you become an upperclassman. But so there are paid tutoring opportunities. We have language study groups, as Andrea mentioned, in Polish, Ukrainian, Bulgarian. It really depends on the local talent. And we have a student who helps us with social media. And we have a student advisory board that we work with to decide what kinds of activities and events we are going to host any given year.
And I'd like to, we're closing now with saving the best for last, which is, of course, our students. I've been working at Connecticut College my whole career since 1999, and our students are spectacular. People ask us all the time, what can you do with a major in Slavic Studies? And I have seen our students, I mean, some of students go on to use the languages and the cultural knowledge that they've developed here. Others go on to do completely different things. I will say that a Slavic Studies major is quite the eye catcher on a resume. We have students doing banking, domestic and international finance, diplomacy work, lawyers, people in international journalism, teachers, of course, and academics, PR work, but you can do really anything under the sun with a Slavic Studies major. And now we'll talk a little bit about who's going to talk about senior work.
Right. So one of the, in addition to coursework, preparation for a professional or postgraduate study happens in part through a senior integrative project, which all of our students complete. That might be a year-long honors thesis, or it might be a one semester project. And so this is a moment every year when we celebrate the learning outcomes of our students. And it's very gratifying to see the wide range of projects that our students come up with. Here are just a couple of sample photographs of that work. And so, as I said, doing a longer written project, a research project, prepares students in part for graduate study if they decide to do that. We have had great success placing students in high profile programs such as Emily Hackett, who is now at Harvard, or in helping them to land competitive fellowships such as the Fulbright. Beatrice Voorhees, one of the presenters we saw on a previous slide, is this year an English teaching assistant in Czech Republic. Devin Rancourt is a Fulbright English TA in Bulgaria for the second year and is looking to complete a master's program. After that, Kamal Karim is finishing up a PhD in anthropology at Princeton University. And Blindies Luciano is she pursued a master's degree in Czech Republic, but then went on to pursue a food systems position. Dana Sorkin is a digital marketing manager. Michi Figueroa, who was pictured in one of the presentation slides earlier, is in cybersecurity and has been working, but now has transitioned into an MA program at Northeastern University. Roy Walton is also pursuing anthropology. Maybe now, if you're still listening, is not a bad moment to say that we really encourage students to pursue a double major, not just Slavic studies, but Slavic and anthropology, Slavic and music, Slavic and sociology, for example. Tara Law is an alumna who is reporting on Ukraine and the region for Time magazine. Olivia Dufour is in a leadership role in the business sector. Troy Willis is pursuing a law degree at the University of Connecticut. Jyoti Arvi is an editorial assistant at the University of California Press. This is really a kind of a random sampling of our alumni. There could be many others whose great outcomes we could feature, but we don't want to let this go on too very much longer. So with that, we'll really close and say thank you for listening to us. We hope you have found it interesting and instructional. And maybe I'll pass the mic over to Pekko for the final word.
The final word is come visit us. Come visit us, meet our students, visit our classes, have one-to-one conversation with a faculty member. Join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Dziękuję. Do widzenia.
Свидания.
Do widzenia.
Do widzenia.